Class is back in session. Welcome back to Digital Scribeology. Today's course in the 48 Laws of Songwriting. We are on Law 2. Don't trust your friends too much. Your ops make better employees. Now, when we talk about your art, when we talk about your music, your whatever you do, your writing, your work, people tend to, stay on the emotional side of all this stuff. And they think that it's a good idea to want to do business and want to keep it all in the family or all with the friends and all of that stuff. However, that's probably the worst decision you can make. People tell you, don't go into business with your friends. Don't go into business with your family. Because one, your friends and your family, working with them, and not saying that you can't work. There are going to be situations where it will actually work out. There's going to be situations where your friends, your family, the people that are closest to you, they understand the mission. They understand where you're going. They understand everything that has to be done. And they're going to be on top of that shit. However, most of the time, when you get to a certain level and you get to a certain accomplishment tier, people get comfortable, people get complacent, people feel like it's not a big deal. And it's not necessarily on purpose, but they think that they've gotten so comfortable, they've gotten so used to the buddy side of the relationship that the bullshit that they do is, you're gonna let that shit slide. Because a lot of the times when it was shit that wasn't so serious, a lot of times when it was shit that didn't matter, you let it slide every single time. Like they fuck up over here. It's just like, okay, that's my friend, we whatever. You do whatever with something that they might have missed the deadline, and it's just like, whatever, that's my homeboy, whatever, that's my homegirl. It is what it is. I ain't making no big deal out of it. You didn't make a big deal out of them canceling plans. You didn't make a big deal out of shit that would be trivial if your livelihood wasn't resting on something being done right and something being done on time, opposed to it really didn't matter. Because if it really didn't matter, it wouldn't matter to your livelihood. This is why you shouldn't go into business with your friends and put too much trust in them, period. Just because they're going to get complacent in their situation, opposed to your ops. And your ops don't have to be no super gremlin ass motherfuckers. Your ops can be anybody that is not your friend. Anybody that, you have had a former issue with on any type of level. And they say, in the 48 Laws of Power, it says, if you don't have any enemies, make some. If you don't have any enemies, nobody give a fuck what you got going on. It's going to always be somebody who give a fuck what you doing and give a fuck about what you got going. If you got something good going, even if the general consensus is this is a likable person, there's always going to be people who don't like what you do. It's always going to be people who don't fuck with whatever you got going on. Now, working with enemies or former ops, a lot easier, because these people have, when you get your problems resolved, it's understood that we can come to the table and we can chop it up like adults, or we can come to the table and we can have a sensible conversation, but they're also not afraid to go against you. They've already proven that. Your friends and your family might really be afraid to call you out because they're afraid of losing their meal ticket. Your ops, they don't give a fuck about you. And it's the same thing like with any job. A motherfucker will be loyal to their paycheck. A motherfucker will be loyal to whatever. When we talking about working with clients, they don't give a fuck about, they just want to get it done. They'll have something to prove to you by saying, look, I see I could do it, and it's whatever. See, you were sleeping on me the whole time. We could have been getting this money together. You know, shit. That's how shit really play out, opposed to the people who are already in your thing. That's why you have to continue to test people. You have to continue to throw little things out at people so you can make sure that they stay on top of their shit. Make sure that they stay doing good work how they supposed to, opposed to an enemy who, if you are in a position of authority over one of your ops, they're gonna want to show that they damn near, I ain't gonna say they want to move like they flawless, but they're damn near gonna want to show like, motherfucker, you the one who need me. You the one who's slacking. It was never me who was the problem, pussy. It was you who was the problem. And that's just how this shit goes. A lot of the times it's just easier to work with people who don't necessarily have emotional ties to you, because it's going to strictly be about the work. That's just really the bottom line about it. It's easier to work with people who we know, clear line drawn in the sand. We are not friends. This is literally just business. And that's where the thing arises, where they have something to prove. They just trying to prove I do good work. I do good business. I'm not here to prove to you that I'm a good person. Damn near. I'm not here to prove to you I'm a good friend. I'm not here to prove shit to you aside from I can get the job done. And that is going to be our lesson for today. Make sure you keep, if you have to, or if you want to, you know, I personally, with my, it's very, like, it's less than 5 people I would really consider my friends that we do work together and do business, but I'm on their motherfucking hat because I want to make sure that they do it correctly, and I got to make sure that they don't overlook shit that a normal person will overlook. You know, I'm always throwing tests out and throwing this out and see if a motherfucker can reach a deadline, see if a motherfucker can do what they say they gonna do. You might actually have to purposely fuck up to see how the people around you react to whatever you got going on, because you always have to just throw these tests out to make sure motherfuckers do not get comfortable if you doing it with your folks. If you doing it with people who not your folks, you're gonna have to still test them, but you're not gonna have to be bothered with all the extra steps because it's nothing there. Like, we don't have no whatever. We're not going to be buddy being friend. We can be friendly during work hours, but outside of work hours, it's really not going to be nothing there. So make sure you get to class on time tomorrow. I wanted to give a small introduction yesterday, just so you know how we're going. This is Digital Scribeology Semester 1. We are going over the 48 laws of songwriting. I am your professor. I am your coach. I am your instructor, Nayim Edwards, and I will see you tomorrow.